have a conversation.
The fanciness cuts off the backtracking.
It's so dramatic. It's just like, hey, here's your theatrical podcast for the evening, and then we're all like stoned.
In Dolby, that would THX. Boom. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. Hello, tonight's webinar: Cupid's Guide to Speed Dating After 40. Transmissions from a Lonely Room, the VD edition, has been canceled due to bad weather and probably needs to go get a shot. But fear not, we have this extra loving podcast just for you.
Welcome to For Music Lovers Only, a podcast where each host makes a top 5 list of their favorite songs from this week's topic. Each week is a new topic. Tune in, I dare you. Music Lovers Only.
Hey!
Cupid shooting those arrows all over us. What is going on? We are For Music Lovers Only, the podcast. Tonight is episode 94. We're going to dive into Mr. Scott Weiland and his huge catalog of music. And we're going to get into that about 10-15 minutes. But until then, Coach Sontia, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
It was a snow day that I had to work and go all through, so it wasn't a snow day. It was a day with snow.
Yes.
And everybody was grumpy. Like, I think because one time at work we canceled one snow day. We canceled because it was really bad snow. Now everybody expects that when it snows we're going to cancel work, and we don't. And everybody's so sad about it.
Not going to happen. It wasn't too bad of a drive in. It was almost worse coming home because it had melted and already started to refreeze. So the driveway's got a nice little layer of ice on it again. So I'm like, hey.
They were saying it was supposed to snow again today, but I don't know. Like, I didn't believe them. And then I woke up and looked out the window when I was going to wake up my kid. And then it was like, oh, there really is snow out here.
Yeah, they sent the kid home with her trumpet and her stuff yesterday. And so I kind of anticipated they were already counting on it. And she's got a 5-day weekend for conferences and President's Day. And so she's not back till Tuesday. I'm like,
yeah, that's mine. I have to get up at 5 a.m. when my kids go to school. So I like when they're not out of school so I can sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. I usually sleep in, but I'm going to try to get up because if I get up and go back to sleep, I have these horrible dreams. Last night was one of the worst.
What was it about?
It's probably got something to do with the Valentine's Day coming up, but it's just the typical, the perpetual breakup of things, and it's never the same way it happened in reality. This was so super weird. It was like her birthday, and she got pissed off and left, and so we're open and it's the only people that I could recognize. My mom was there, and all these other people were her people, but not really her people. They weren't, in the real life version of it. It wasn't, but so, we, opening presents, she comes back, cusses me out a little bit. And then a huge orgy breaks out in the backyard of all of her people. And I'm just like, I'm out of here. And the orgy was nice. And then when I left out the front door, it was snowing. And then I woke up, thankfully.
Why would you leave the orgy though?
Well, I was trying to reconcile with my wife in the dream,
Man, next time you have the dream.
Wives don't, I'm not very good at relationships, but I don't think that works.
That's why you do
most
orgies.
cases. I know
That's
that.
the point of a dream, brother. You turned a dream into a nightmare.
I woke up very angry, and it's like I'm so over this. I don't even want to sleep. I think I'm going to have to start drinking so I don't remember my dreams or something. I don't know. Maybe need to take a trip off the planet again or something because I can't control. You can't control your damn dreams. It's like I'm over this. I want to be over this, but I still dream about it.
Ooh, I controlled my dream one time. I had a dream, and I was 5. I remember because I told the whole school because they asked about dreams the next day, and I thought it was so cool. So in my dream, Michael Jackson was in my backyard, and he turned to a werewolf, and I remember this dream vividly, and I ran into the house, and I was like, oh no, Michael Jackson is out there. Here he's a werewolf, and he was like trying to get in the house, and I was like, you know what? I don't have to let him scare me. And then I went outside and I grabbed Michael Jackson by the tail and I hung him up on the clothesline. And I said, you stop being werewolf, Michael Jackson.
Did you just watch Thriller?
I watched Thriller every day. I was a Michael Jackson head. It was a lot, but I showed him.
Yeah. Have you ever had like the same dream? I've had a couple reoccurring dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And in this last one that I had most recently, Casey was there, and it's the apocalypse. And I don't think I'm
not a bad person to have in the apocalypse. I got some skills.
Yeah,
you were driving the truck, I think. So I think
be a good skill. I'm a good apocalypse driver.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
but the first 2 dreams I had of it ended horribly. Okay, so. This third dream, in my dream, I'm like, okay, well, I remember this happening if I do this, so I'm not gonna do this. And we ended up, the first 2 times I didn't even get to the kid, but with Coach and Jesse's help, we got all of our family and got them safe to safety. I don't remember the rest, but I was in there thinking like, okay, I know what happens now. I've deja-vu'd this in my dream. I thought that was pretty crazy.
That's cool.
I occasionally dream. I very rarely remember them. And I think at one point in my life, I had one kind of sequence dream, I would call it. It wasn't a reoccurring. It was the same episode kept playing. But it was like I was a different character every time it played, if that makes sense.
Huh.
That was one of the only things I remember. And I mean, I've had a couple nightmares, and then I had one horrible one in high school we're not going to talk about. But other than that...
Tell me your dreams.
Yeah, we'll do that on the Confessions of Your Deepest. No.
For our 100th episode. There we go.
There we
Confessions of Our Deepest.
I do remember having occasionally, like, especially like when you're training for a sport or you're working real hard for something that's on your mind a lot, like where you're trying to do something, you just fail. Like you can't, like something you could easily do. And I couldn't even like get a basketball up to the basketball goal. It's like I'm shooting and it just keeps going like straight down. And it's like, what the freak?
Yeah. Speaking of 100th, we're coming up really close. This is 94, episode 94. So we got to come up with something cool. If anybody out there in viewer land wants to give us some suggestions, I think, like I said, we're doing Scott Weiland tonight. We did a poll for our 3 picks of the artist, and I want to do them all instead of re-polling them all. I think we'll just do it in like order. So not next week, but the next artist we will do is Lenny Kravitz, and then we'll do Ice Cube. I think I said Ice-T earlier.
Yeah, we won't do Ice-T.
I'm not
I can pretty much guarantee that. I don't think we could come up with 5 songs.
Body count, but
he doesn't have a couple good. So together, we would have to do that as like a duo, like 5 together. Yeah. And one would be the Law and Order theme song.
Yes.
Oh, God.
No dissing, T. No dissing, dog.
I hope he's not watching.
Yeah, I don't know what. I guess everybody's mad at Snoop. I don't even know why. There was a sporting event this weekend, and
no, he's mad. Everybody's mad because he
politics
political. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it's political stuff.
Well, did you see the commercial that
on the show? So let's leave him alone.
Yeah.
Commercial on the super foosball game.
Him and Tom Brady.
Yeah. I walked in. I didn't watch much of it, but I was kind of passing through, and I was like, "Hey, Snoop," and then sit there and watched it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of fucked up, man." Like the very last line is, "It's pretty messed up that we got to do this commercial," and I'm like, "Yeah."
It's so funny because 2 of those people. Now I don't know about Tom Brady, but I mean, like, and not against Snoop, and I'm fine with him. But like, Snoop literally created his career on I get it. It's a songs, they're music, but on a thug, gangster, whatever image, and now that's the commercial he's doing, and it's fine though. He went corporate or whatever you want to call it, man. He's all about money. Wherever he's making the most money, and the reason he did that commercial is because he made money. Snoop ain't ever showed up nowhere. He ain't made money.
I think the biggest thing about that commercial that really pissed people off, because I don't know if I care. I haven't thought about it enough because there's enough to be mad at. But like when he did Donald Trump's inauguration or whatever, he played there. That hurt a lot of people's feelings, especially since he was so anti-Trump for the longest time. He even had a song that was anti-Trump, and now he's at the inauguration. So it makes it seem kind of selloutish.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe you're a sellout, Snoop, and you can still totally come on the show.
With him, it's money, and he crosses lines, and it is what it is. And he says it's we do need to heal, we need to bring together all that, but it's it's money. It's money.
Yeah,
that's okay. I still like his music. I've never watched a lot of his other stuff. I never really so.
Yeah.
Switch gears here into Mr. Scott Weiland. Most of us probably got introduced to Mr. Scott Weiland in like 92 with the debut album. They were a band prior to that. They had a different name for a little while, and they always wanted, they were kind of all infatuated with the STP logo, the oil logos. Mm-hmm. That's why they knew they wanted STP when they got their record deal. So they had to change the names. They didn't know what they had. And there's one rumor, I can't corroborate this, however that word is, corroborate. But it was Shirley Temple's P. I'm not going to say the word. Y'all, can you? Shirley Temple's Kitty was one of the options for the band to fit the STP logo. I'm glad they went with Stone Temple Pilots.
Well, and plus the Pussycat Dolls would have got mad about that. So and that's how you say the word without saying it all.
Yeah,
that's showbiz.
And it got lumped into the grunge catalog, and I do not think they were grunge at all.
I think they had some grunge songs. I mean, I think because they had a couple Nirvana sounding songs. I mean, I think there was a period where they would, but they were everywhere.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with the record label, because I heard doing this search, I listened to the demos for the first album, what was the name of the first album? Core.
Yeah.
And the demos, I mean, of course they weren't recorded as well, but they had a different feel to them. A lot of them had a different feel to them. Mm-hmm. And so I think on the, grunge was taken off. So they're like, let's put a little more distortion on here. Because Bossa Nova was really big with all of them, even in some of his solo albums. And he loved David Bowie. He like I said, the Beatles. He was always infatuated with the Beatles, and so a lot of that influence, like you said, rings through to his music. And I was a Stone Temple Pilots. I did not get into like 4 and after on Stone Temple Pilots. I got the first solo album, but I didn't know a lot of it after that. And Velvet Revolver was cool to have him back out there.
Yeah.
But there was a ton of names, and they had it just was it was so different music. I mean, that you definitely, other than him singing a lot of this, the songs, there wasn't mistaking the two bands.
No. I mean, right. It's definitely, you can, the Delano brothers and whoever had the other guy, there was 3 other bands in 3 other members in Stone Temple Pilots. 2 of them were brothers, but the
DeLeos, man, those two were awesome.
Yeah, they definitely made the sound, and like I said, what Scott added to the music was amazing.
Right. I like how his voice changed over time. Like there were a period of times when I was listening to some Velvet Revolver songs to where I had to make sure that it was him, or there were a couple of actually STP songs where it sounded like his voice just completely changed.
Well, I think Stone Temple Pilots did do one album with another cat.
It wasn't Chester. Him though. It was
Chester. I think it was Chester.
Scott.
I think they did a tour in like 17 or something with the new lead singer. I think I seen something as recent as that, maybe even more recent.
And did you see the Christmas album? I was shocked by that.
I didn't listen.
I listened to a couple of it, but I'm still like over Christmas. So
Yeah.
I listened to a few. I listened to one, and he did pretty good at nailing it. Of course, Sinatra was always my favorite version of that song. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but he definitely tapped into the Sinatra a little bit, which easy for him to do.
Oh yeah. I saw the Christmas album, and I'm like you. I'm just like, I'm tired. And I love Christmas. I love Christmas to death, but like I couldn't do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Couldn't absolutely do it. Oh my God. And Scott's style over the years too changed. Like he turned into like the
prettiest. He looked like 19 different people.
Oh yeah. And
I think that was also a sign of like the drugs, the self things. He was, kind of a shy, different person. I mean, and he was always, I think, chasing. I don't know. There's a lot of different versions.
A lot of demons. I think a lot of demons. And
even like his interviews, he seems uncomfortable in himself, man. I mean, and a lot of those ones that go too soon and go through some of the things they did, you go back and look at their interviews and you're like, I mean, we talk about it with Mac Miller, with some of them, they seem uncomfortable with who they are when they got kind of where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
Well, let's say this, what kind of inspired this was a song, digging into on weird music, because he definitely had some weird music, but also this year is the 10th year of, since he's been gone, December 3rd, I think. So 10 years. And I mean, I hate to say it, but I think he wrote way better music when he was on Smack, but I just can't, I don't know.
Unfortunately,
first 3 albums of Stone Temple Pilots, I mean, that is the good stuff to me.
Well, then this is where we might run into a bunch of songs. No,
I tried not to do all of them. I mean, they're all there if I need them.
It's amazing. Like I said, though, I spent more time because I know 92 through 96, 98. I know all that. I tried to spend a lot more time with the solo stuff, and I found a bunch. I mean, I have a lot of liked songs that maybe didn't make this top 5 list, but I found like some stuff with him in the Walkabouts or
I had to look at it too. 12 Bar Blues was definitely a different.
The Wildabouts or what? Wild, yeah. Anyways, but I mean, there was a bunch of stuff. It took me a while because it took 10 different searches on Spotify to find all of his music too.
I finally learned to stop going to the playlists that are made up and to go to the actual people who like him's playlists. So that's where I started
going to the albums. I mean, for the artist, I always go to the artist, start with the albums. But this one,
I'll go to like, I'll do sometimes a best of if I'm driving to and from work, and then when I'm sitting around, I'll go hit specific kind of, like I like this, I'll go listen to the whole album or whatever is kind of how I do it. So,
all right, Coach, you got that handy dandy spinner ready?
Handy dandy notebook. Here's the mail; it never fails.
Oh,
guys! No, I'll go first.
Okay.
Take it.
Like I said, everybody still got a switcheroo, whatever. We haven't come up with a clever name for it yet, but I feel like going first is going to help me, because I might have picked what everybody else picked, or I might not have. I don't know.
I have plenty that I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm now that I'm looking at my list, I didn't put any of these in order, so we're just going to have to figure it out right now.
On the fly.
So Scott Weiland, I knew somewhere in my heart that he had passed, but I forgot. I completely forgot. And so I was sitting here going through this playlist, just listening to his songs, and I was like in the kitchen, and I was like, oh, cool, this is good, and this is, this is meaningful, and this really touches me. I wonder if he's done anything new. And I was looking for new songs, and then like in our chat, Josh posted some interviews, and then in one of the interviews it was like RIP, and he had died, and like it personally affected me for a second because it really hurt my heart that he had passed. And what was it, in 2015 is when he was on.
Yep.
And I could just, out of just learning his music and listening to his music, I really did like fall in love with his sound, with his emotions, with what he was going through. And I was really hopeful that he had gotten past that and was doing better. So that was a painful moment for me. And it was kind of the same with Mac Miller, but I already knew what to expect there, but it just, so many talented people go so soon, but there's so much pain that goes into creativity. You're the most creative, you're more creative you are, probably the more shit you've been through. So
yeah, definitely.
That's it. So the first one, where's it at? Okay, so this is off of his it was a solo album called Happy and Galoshes.
Yep.
That came out in November of 2008, and it's called The Man I Didn't Know.
Yeah.
And essentially this song really I felt something because it was like he was missing his dad. Like, and that was the whole song. And like, why'd you leave me so young? And it just was so painful and longing, but it was almost kind of like accolades to his dad. I have no idea what his relationship was with his father. But from that song, I don't think it was torn. I thought he loved his dad, and he was just hurting so bad that he wasn't there.
Yeah,
at some point.
I didn't dig too much into his early life, but I think he had he grew up, I think, San Diego, but I think he had ties to Cleveland as well.
Mm-hmm.
And but he like left college with everybody's permission or whatever to pursue music.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think he had. And in one of the interviews with Kilborn, I think he was talking about his mom going on stage or on tour with him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he had a fairly decent relation. I mean, he didn't. I don't think he had a lot of trauma as a child. I think he had loving parents, and
Well, yeah. So we can go by that or figure it out. He might have just been beaten every day. I don't know. You just don't know.
That was the case.
He beat himself up, what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. So the second one is actually off the same album, Happy and Galoshes. I went through 12 Bar Blues and I picked some from there, but then I found this one, which is Beautiful Day.
Yeah.
And Beautiful Day is a masterpiece to me. Like, I've listened to that probably 10 or 12 times just because of how circusy it is, how Beatles inspired it is.
Yeah.
And once again, it's just talking about tragedy. It obviously is about like the night after or the weeks after or the consequences of whatever it was that he was doing at the time. But you gotta just kind of be healthy. One of the lyrics that I wrote down is "Leave me here, I'm okay. I just got back from hell today," and I've been there.
Yeah.
Woo, I've been there.
Well, I think that second album, his solo album, I think he kind of took, because I noticed a lot of the same melodies and a lot of the same pieces that he did in the first. A lot of the bossa nova, a lot of the little, I think, clavicles. I think a lot of that he that second solo album, which was 5, 6, 7 years later, he kind of just continued it on from where he left off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was on my tentative list, that song, but I think something halfway through the song he switches like completely or something, and it just kind of threw me, and it didn't make the cut.
Oh my goodness. It reminded me of Sgt. Pepper is what it kind of reminded me of. How that you're like, what?
Yeah. 2 songs in one.
Like, oh, we're just doing some shit now. Okay,
yeah.
That's cool.
I decide which one I wanted to record, so I recorded them both.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know. I loved it. I'm probably gonna listen to it after I get off of here. Number 3 is gonna be Circles with Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts.
Good song.
Yeah, that's a really good song. I love the steel guitar in it. And that's what I was talking about when I was talking about how he had kind of a country feel. This was the first song that I heard a little bit of twang.
Yeah.
It was a little bit twangy. Some of the lyrics that I wrote down on here is "Ain't no heaven, no master protects you, and I'll care for you." And it reminded me of a relationship where you're like gods to each other, almost, where you get to that point to where it's like it's just you and me sort of situation, and those are extremely beautiful, and sometimes they are very much toxic, but that's what this song reminded me of, and just like the slow cycle through all of it, and then in the end it just ends anyways.
Yeah.
All right, so number 4, we're gonna go to STP. Those are going to be my 2 songs. The first one is going to be off of Purple, and I picked this song because I played it from 1994 until 2006, probably every damn day, and it was Unglued.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day. I would just. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a great song. It's okay.
Yes.
I have the sounder and I got to use it. If you use one of my songs, don't be sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, we need to keep the sounder employed. The economy
yes.
is bad enough.
Yeah, it gets paid. It gets paid. So.
But yeah, Unglued is just a hollering rock and roll mess. And it makes you want to jump around, and it gives you energy, and it speaks just to your manic and anxious side, or to my manic and anxious side. I don't know how everybody else is, but I'm very manic and anxious. I very am. Much am. Yes. And that song just ooh. I'll probably listen to that one too after we get through. And then the last one. What are we gonna do? The last one. You know what? I am going to go to I'm gonna go ahead and go to Velvet Underground, Fall to Pieces.
Velvet Revolver. Velvet Underground.
Revolver.
I did that 1,000 times.
Velvet Revolver. My bad. I said it and I felt it. I was like, ooh, somebody's cringing right now.
But they were definitely paying homage to old Lou Reed with that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they named it, because, you know, Guns N' Roses and Scott's always had that flamboyant velvet feel. You know, if Scott Weiland was a fabric, velvet would be what he'd be velvet. So
yeah,
it worked. I
agree with that. And yeah, and it's just that song's been playing in my head like since it came on my playlist, because I had forgotten about it. Huh?
What song was it again?
Fall to Pieces.
Oh, dang it. Yeah. Hit the sounder there, coach.
Oh
yeah. That's why, that's probably what inspired the dream, because it's just like fuck every time, you know. Love
Falling down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like it because it doesn't really conjure the same thing for me. It reminds me of repetitive things, but it's more like more of cycles of mental breakdown than actual breakups, which cause cycles of mental breakdown. But I mean, just in general.
Yeah.
General crazy is what I was thinking. Falling to pieces. Yeah. And that's it.
Good list.
Indeed.
That one was on my honorable mention, so I didn't have to hit it. So
I'm pulling up some tentative list here. I might have to go blind on it. All right, I'm ready for you, Coach. You spinning? Is it me? You ready to spin?
It spun around a whole bunch of times and landed on you. That's a spin.
That's a spin. I was looking at the list. I got the kid yelling in the room. I told her to be damn quiet, and I can hear her yelling.
Yeah, mine are super quiet, and I'm kind of worried. But I don't smell anything burning, so we should be fine.
You should be fine. And like I said, mine, you know, the first 3 albums, Stone Temple Pilots, that's my sweet spot. I mean, there's, you know, Core, skip none of them. Purple, skip none of them. Tiny Music gets a little little off. You know, they definitely break away from the grunge.
There was a ton of stuff on there I liked, though. There was stuff that I could skip past on that one. I will agree, but there was still that I could have done a top 5 on that one pretty easy.
Now the fourth one, number 4, I didn't like that one. I just didn't like that one. And then Shangri-La Da.
Yeah,
I didn't even give it a chance.
I tried to listen to it, and I feel like it's a good album if you sit down and like. I don't like it because I want to hear old them, and it's like new, and that's just me being pissy.
Yeah. Well, my number 5 was from the Shangri-La Da. That was 2001. It was Transmissions from a Lonely Room.
Okay.
Yep.
That was, a good song, and I really tapped into that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the only one. The rest of them, I mean, it's not that they were bad. It's not that I didn't like them. They just didn't speak to me profoundly enough.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 4 was Fall to Pieces. So I'm just going to go back with the core and Where the River Goes.
Oh, yeah.
Good song.
Because it's just, that kind of existential question, sell, what does he say? Sell me down the river. I think that's actually Kitchenware. Okay, I think that's a different song. I get two of them mixed up because they're the lyrics. He talks about rivers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I don't know. Which Kitchenware and Candybars is my number 3, and that's off of Purple. That's the 1994.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that's the same. I mean, you hear a lot of pain, but I think it's all like self-inflicted pain. I mean, it's not rejection, but dealing with the rejection is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Getting over it, I mean, somebody doesn't want you. It's kind of like, ouch. And then you're like, well, nobody's going to want me. So sell me down the river. So whatever lyric that applies to those two songs, we'll go with that one. Mm-hmm. You were talking about the 2008 solo album, Happy and Galoshes, and I was so worried you were going to pick this one because Fame cover. The only cover that he does. And Stone Temple Pilots wasn't known for covers. They didn't do any covers.
Mm-hmm.
And but this one he really tapped into Bowie. It's got a good the music is spot on, and then he even hits it.
Do do do.
Yeah. I've always loved that song, and so to hear him do it and not butcher it completely, I'm like, say he did it justice.
Mm-hmm.
Now the number 1, can't call it a cover because he actually played with the Doors.
Mm-hmm.
The second, well, I'll just break on through, was a phenomenal version, and then he did another song, and it was one of my favorite songs that the Doors, that Jim did, but I don't know if they didn't practice it enough, but
he's frozen.
I don't know, Hall of Fame.
Now you're back.
You
did.
froze.
For a minute, Josh. I thought you were. Sorry, maybe it was me.
Oh, I thought no. He totally froze, and then he did a weird thing like that.
Okay, good.
Coach did too, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe we said some word too many times. I don't know.
All right. What was your number 1?
Break on Through.
Okay.
He did it with the Doors, and then he did another version. He did another song with that same performance. And like I said, I wouldn't call that a cover song because he was playing with the band and did it. I don't think it's on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube is the only place I could find it. But
I'd kind of forgot that he played with them and did that because you Google like Scott. If you just Google it, Scott Weiland music, it's all these Doors songs. But then they're like 1967. It's not. I'm like, no, he did not. No, he could be the reincarnation. I could give that.
He
went too soon, but he got a lot more music than my boy Jim did.
Yeah.
Well, he nailed that. The break on through, because the video I had them both kind of back to back, and Ray Manzik's introducing them and stuff, and I think Dinsmore, he's even introducing them a little bit too. But like the only man that could fill Jim's shoes for tonight is Scott Weiland. And I remember watching it when that first came out, and I had kind of forgot about it. I figured it would have been on Coach's radar, being a Doors fan, and so
I wanted to, and that was what made it hard. But that I love the Doors too much with Jim to it's I don't know how to describe it, and nothing against it. I listened to probably 4 or 5 because he does Light My Fire. He does I think he does good on a bunch of them. But it's to me it's still not Jim.
I must have missed like most of that
because
I'd heard
to find on YouTube like where I found most of it.
Yeah. But
we had another project with like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. One of the guys from there is called Art of Anarchy.
Okay.
And that's what I pulled up. I was going to have one on my tentative list. I don't remember which one, but he only did one album with them. They had another guy that sang with them at 2, I think, because they had 2 composers listed.
Okay. Was that covers or not covers, remakes, or were they new songs?
I think it's new songs.
Okay, because there was a couple of like a couple of albums that were just like remakes or live albums or different things like that. And I saw that one and I didn't even look at it. So I might actually.
It didn't really even pop up when I searched Scott Weiland. I went to Wikipedia just to see if there was anything I was missing. And sure enough, Art of Anarchy, and I love the name.
Art of Anarchy. Yeah. I'm gonna look that up because I like the cover art was awesome, but I was just like, oh, that's probably just them singing the same songs, and I didn't even give it a chance.
Yeah, I think it's the 2005 album Art. I think that's it.
I have it written down.
The artwork looks familiar. All right, well, we're gonna spin, and it's Coach, right?
Yay! Well, I had to change my list up just a little bit, just one song, so it was easy. My number 5, Dirty Little Thing, Velvet Revolver. That video is freaking badass too. I think that almost got me. The song's a good song, awesome song, but like video is just on the train. It's just a cool ass video. His hair's all freaking red and spiked out. I mean, that's the 700 Faces of Scott Weiland. That's that. So, and that, like I said, he did some cool videos. Like I kind of forgot how cool STP and some of his videos were. Even like the Velvet Revolver, I think they won more awards for their videos than they did for their music. So they did badass videos, man, and they had the guy the guys that you want to do videos with. So
yeah, definitely.
My number 4 was Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts, Modzilla. Which was cool. It's just a cool sounding song. That was to me one of the most different. If you just heard that song, that's not you wouldn't think that. I mean, that's definitely as far from STP as you can get.
Yeah, that was the 3rd solo album, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was. The cover of that one's got the beatbox on it. It's got a big beatbox on it, and Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts or whatever. But there was probably 5 or 6 songs on there that were just real cool, but just completely different. They're almost more the style of alternative music I listen to now, more along the lines of the Dirty Heads and some of that stuff. I mean, they don't have the drum and some of the beats, but anyways.
I think that was came out like after he died. He was working on it when he died, maybe, or started touring on it when he died, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I think that's the band he was on tour with when he died in Minnesota. So my number 3 I kind of thought would make your list. It's Art School Girl, STP. And that song, I got a girlfriend. She goes to art school. And that is my music. Like, if you want to know Casey music, I don't know, like that's my music, because there's still a little bit of sad in there or whatever, but it's just like that whole song is like, I got a girlfriend, it's just, and it's, again, that's different. That was when STP, I think, kind of started changing their sound, honestly. Because that ain't grunge. I don't know what that is, but
I think they probably had enough power from from their success, even with all of Scott's problems. I think
to have fun.
To hey, we're doing this now. We can do this. Love Pop Suicide. I think that's the first song off of there. I think, and like I said, it's poppy, but it's still dark, And
a bunch of those songs on there have almost like that poppy, but then they're like, it's okay. Well, never mind. The guy that's writing them he's still a little dark.
He's a brilliant lyricist. I love the way he comes up with the words and the way pieces.
He's one of those guys that struggles to talk. I mean, I don't mean that like he because he stumbles over what he wants to say. If that maybe that makes more sense. He's overthinking what he's getting ready to say next. So,
yeah, especially when he's mad at Kurt Loder.
Oh my God, that was pretty funny. And then watching him on that one, the other one I told you, the Kilborn show that I hate. You could tell he was just bugging him because he just kept trying to be funny while he's trying to talk about like a serious thing he do. It was like, oh, because she was sour. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just me not liking. So my number 2 is where we go. 92, and we go Wicked Garden. Which, I mean, like that song just played on loop. And then my number 1 from the same album, probably the best start, maybe top 5, 10 seconds of a song ever. Dead and Bloated.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's like, you want to start a song. You want to start a song, like people are just sitting around and there's no music. There's no just.
Did you happen to go listen to any of the demo versions of that album? I did. Expanded, and I was like, and like I said, I mean, all they did to make it grunge was put a little distortion on the guitar, because I mean the demo versions didn't have that much distortion. It's like, but that changed the feel of the song. I mean, Scott had to get a little more raspy, and I think even on some of the demos, he didn't even have lyrics. He's just kind of mumbling and just to but then knowing the words, now that we've been listening to the real version, it's like you're singing along and then you're like, what is he saying? He's mumbling,
Yeah, and I listened. I'll tell you one thing that I probably got into the last 2 days and was struggled to get off of, except for tonight, was the acoustic stuff. His Unplugged and his that dude, like, he took, I mean, every one of those songs that would make my list and just, I mean, made him it's almost like a completely different song, the way he would sing them and the way he would, play them, and just, he's a badass, man.
Yeah.
I was glad we did this.
Did you catch him live at the, pretty sure it was the Coliseum, Cheap Trick open for him? I don't know if you went with Jesse and me to that, Coach.
I don't think I did. I don't think so. I went and seen him in like Kansas City, like 97 or 98 or some crap. I'd have to remember. I don't remember, because that was like the 3 years of concerts where we went to Ozfest in Kansas City, and I mean that's probably the most concerts I went to. More concerts in the 3 years that I've been to in the rest of the years of my life.
He did a lot of acoustic, from what I remember. Acoustic versions. I don't know if something was going on. He kind of like just sat on the stool and sang, and I mean, I think it was full band, but I think there was some acousticness going on with it. I remember just standing there.
I think he did somewhere. He was just jamming by himself. I mean, it sounded like him in a room, and that was some of the cool stuff, man.
I missed a lot of concerts, like all through the 90s. I can't even remember what I just wasn't allowed to go. So most of the music that I was exposed to was either on the radio or on TV, and then sometimes we would see like maybe local people playing, but
I'm not going to say it was all good. I mean, I went and seen Sugar Ray, for God's sake.
I saw Sugar Ray too, and if I ever just punch Mark McGrath in the face, just know it's because I saw them live and he pissed me off.
Their first album.
The artist I want to punch in the face would be Papa Roach, because I was at something in Kansas City and he was supposed to play, and then they backed out of it. And then I actually bought tickets to, I don't remember who else he was with. They were coming to Wichita, and I don't know why, but I bought, and then he canceled because he didn't sell enough tickets and it wasn't going to be enough people. And I'm like, and now he can't even sell out a bar. So that's just dessert for you. Come to Wichita now. We won't go to your show.
I like the song, and I think they got another song that I like, Papa Roach, but
that's what I said. I think it was just at the time when I was going to Drowning Pool and Saliva, and if people were on radio and they were coming through here, we went through a lot of years in Wichita where a concert didn't come through here. So when they started coming, you went. I mean, I went to Nelly and St. Lunatics. I went to everything that came through for a while. I tried to go to, man.
A first concert like that I went to in Wichita as an adult, I was probably 19, something like that, because I'd done Riverfest. And the only thing that we would go to is Gospel Fest and then the Blues Fest. So I didn't see anything in between or around there. Yeah. But George Clinton came, and they shut down like downtown. I don't remember exactly where it was, I just remember that like part of downtown was shut down and they did that concert there.
Oh, my dream is, have you ever seen the movie PCU?
Oh yeah.
My dream is to just be at a college and somehow George Clinton shows up and just starts Parliament Funkadelic on that freaking party, man.
Shoot, he might. Shoot.
He seems like the kind of cat that would. That's why I said that movie is like, well, you know what? I believe it, you know?
I was jonesing for some PCU, and it's not on streaming anywhere to buy, to rent, to anything. I know I've got a copy of it somewhere, but I think it's over in storage. I've got a freaking huge tub of videos and CDs. I mean, so many CDs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have so many VHS tapes, and then like one of my friends was like, "Hey, let me use your VHS tape player." Oh my god, I don't even know what it's called anymore.
VCR.
It's oh my god.
It's just a VCR. It's still pretty easy.
Anyways,
don't feel bad. I was drawing the blank too. You put me on the spot, and I'm like, I can't think of it.
Form the words.
Call it something.
The thing had a beta player. You had beta, and then they had VCR, but I think it was always a VCR video.
Never seen a beta played.
We had a beta. They were a little bit bigger. They were cooler because they were like sharper and a little bit better, but they just didn't never catch on. The tapes were kind of goofy, and I remember we had a beta player. We was like, and I think it was like, we thought it was cool for a little bit. Then you could. I remember it's just like when you had a Blu-ray player, you couldn't find. I couldn't find no movies on it or.
Yeah. I don't even. So, how did you play it? Did you put it in something? Because it was like a big record in a plastic case.
No, it was a tape. It was just a big tape.
It was a big tape.
Yeah.
Then when
they had the disc, the big CDs, the laser disc is what they called it. That was after VHS and beta.
Oh, that's what
beta and VHS came out about the same time, and they were going to head. But Sony or whoever owned VHS had the rights to VHS.
Yeah, they were just bigger, and I think like the one we had, you loaded it from like the top. I don't remember, but I know they were a bigger tape and a bigger thing.
Yeah, bigger box.
Actually, if I take that back, they were smaller and they were like a single. I'm looking at it now. Beta was a smaller. It was just a bigger box. The cartridge was smaller. Beta Max. Sorry. We got to learn something. I don't know if we did enough discovery on this show. So
I don't know.
Just like, how did we used to watch videos? Yeah. You never know.
Let's say anybody that's watching that was born after a certain period is like, what are these old fuckers talking about?
Fortunately, they do not watch us anyhow.
Okay, that's true.
Our demographic is definitely 35 up. So
I mean, they will at some point. Like
they'll get old. They'll
find us when we're like 60 or something like that.
You guys should kick ass. come hover over our graves and go like, "For music lovers only." That was the shit, man. Oh, so Sontia, you got some shows coming up. I don't know what they are, but I don't know how soon they are. But I know you got some. You played last Friday for Kevin and I at the Art House, and it was amazing with an accordion. The accordion player was way better than the accordion from Bugs.
Yeah, he did like
Michael Strunk. I can't remember his name. I just friend requested him today, so he popped up.
Okay, I know his first name is Michael. I can't remember how to say his last name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a show on February the 21st that I'm headlining at John Barleycorn's. And then I'm going to be there with Ryan Brooks, Story to Unfold, and then another band, but I can't, their name isn't on the poster, so I can't tell you who it is.
Nameless.
And then I'm going to be playing Freya Fest, and that's going to be in the Midwest Drum. That's going to be on March the 8th. And then I'm going to be playing with Mindless Vitality, Sunny Bee, Sunset Motel at Barleycorns on March the 14th.
Awesome.
Oh my God. I told my kids to let this cat in, and it's like everybody's deaf. I will be right back.
Okay. Like I said, Coach, you got any new episodes coming?
I've got 3 that I've recorded. I don't know. I've been a little off my shows. I don't know. I've been ranting and raving. I don't know if I want to put them out. I'm putting a whole series out. I'll probably release them all and just unload them on the world. But I was going to put something out that I'm working on a couple ideas starting in March. I think I'm going to kind of come back with some little bit different stuff, but still some similar me and that. So
we
got some ideas, but now I've been on a little bit of a break. Just life and the got cast and,
Art Assault coming back the 2nd with, we got, Eddie Legacy. He's got a new show, new project coming out that following weekend, I think. And then Kevin hit me up today about somebody else that wants to get on before their show on Ides of March. And so I'm like, Kevin, you down to do 2 in a row? We haven't done 2 episodes of Art Assault back to back in 100 years, it seems like. So I think we're gonna, if we're all good over in middle of the road podcast studios, then we'll do that.
Yep.
So that's the following Sunday after the 2nd, which I can't math. So what's 2 + 7? 9.
Yeah.
March 9th and March 2nd.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So everybody's staying busy or taking a good mental rest.
Yeah. Like I said, Friday was the opening to Art House 310. The art's going to be in there till the 23rd. They're open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for a couple hours each day. And it was, I would say, it was a successful Friday. I mean, it was fun. A lot of people came out.
There were a ton of people.
Yeah.
Like the building stayed full of people.
Yeah.
It slowed down for a minute, and then I left, and I guess everybody's like, it's safe now.
Yeah. Well, no,
Let's go.
it kind of died down after you guys left.
Mhm.
It was like nobody. I think Stephanie showed up. I won't say that. It was still kind of busy for a little bit, but then it definitely died down. And I don't feel like a complete failure, but it's like,
I had a good time, and you guys have sold a couple of pieces too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
we were
awesome.
there. We were there last night, and Kevin's boss and his wife came through. Cool guy. And he was asking a lot of questions. And,
Okay.
I mean, just about things and the meaning of things, and I kind of told him, and then he'd kind of Google it and be like, "Yeah," I'm like, "I'm getting fact checked over here." Like,
You get fact checked art.
yeah. The ram skull, he was really him and his wife really hovered over that one and asked a lot of questions about it.
I really like that piece. Like, what's it about?
He didn't jump on it yet. But
it.
I told Kevin to put the screws to him while he was at work.
Also, like I said, man, I was impressed. I think my wife even, hasn't seen a lot. I mean, stuff you've posted and stuff, but hasn't seen a lot, and was real impressed. And so, I mean, it was good stuff. I love your guys' collaboration stuff. I mean, your stuff. Kevin's a wild guy. He's got his stuff's all over the place, man.
Oh yeah.
Some of his that big feather one I couldn't let go of looking at. Like I said, it's just. Every painting catches everybody different, man.
Oh yeah, I like the one that lights up. And then Bryce.
Yep.
Bryce, his art is really cool too.
Yeah.
And
beautiful places I would love to be right now that had no snow.
Oh yeah.
Some that had snow, but most of them had no snow.
Yeah, most of them did. And like really for you guys being so different, like in your art, it all collaborated really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did an awesome job of displaying it, and I thought it was a cool setup, and I thought it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, neat spot. So I'm pretty sure Thursday they'll be open tomorrow. I don't think the weather's supposed to get crummy again. So
just cold.
It'll be there. We've been hanging out, just hanging out for them 4 hours, and hoping to get somebody so we can talk about our art, ask us weird questions. We'll make something up if we don't know.
Well,
have you wore your featured artist badge yet?
No, I haven't.
It's going to be hard for them to talk to you about your art if, of course, I mean, standing around, they should know you're the artist. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, the other one, I got a lot of compliments on my frames.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
There was 3
Your
or 4
frames are
years
awesome.
that the frames made them. The art was awesome, but the frames made them.
Yeah, that's what I say. I don't know how to take that because they're like, "Oh, the frame is amazing," and I'm like, "Well, that's great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, I framed them, but I want you to like what's inside of it." And then
How you incorporated the art into the frame on a couple of them, I think, is what made them badass.
Yeah.
I think because there is something to be said about that, because you can look at a canvas and sometimes the finished piece is kind of helps.
Yeah.
And that one, your guitar one's a prime example, because the print without the gold around it is a complete, I mean, it's still an awesome painting, but it's a completely different painting without that frame on it. I mean, 100%.
Yeah, I
have the
completely agree.
pizzazz.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's not the steampunk one, because the steampunk one has a cool ass frame too.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
it
That's
is
the same one.
It's the same
Frankenstein
one.
guitar. I don't know.
That's the best one. Not the feel the guitar, but that's the best way to describe it. That's, I mean, I read a lot of bolts. And it's a cool. I said it's just. That's why I said it's just. And the cat one or the bird one, the little purple bird, that one, that the frame that went with it. That's why I said
that
it
one's
just
gone. Somebody got that one.
Oh, I knew that one would be Amy.
Well, that was
one
the owl's still there, but the for the bird, the one. I mean, both the frames kind of followed with it, but yeah, one sold a lot of prints, a lot of stickers, so it does, does pay to have all the smalls, is what we call it, I guess, in the industry. The smalls, the more affordable things.
Well, that's how you get your art out there and let some more people see it. And, I mean, even in Amy's case, that's part of the reason why she bought with the one she wanted. She wanted to stare at it and decide it, I mean.
Yeah.
But it's like, I got $25. Oh my God. When I went to go see, the Cookie Store had a show. I went to one of their shows a couple of weeks back, and Sheldon Draper was there, an artist, and he had his art out. And I was like, I haven't bought any of your art. And I'd spent so much money that day. It was terrible. I'm still sad about that. And then he pulled out his art, and I looked at the pricing, and I really wanted to get it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I got $25. What do you have?
Yeah, in that price range.
Yeah, and I got a cool shirt that I wear all the time.
Yeah, I got Jenny Jack gonna do some trucker hats for me. I'm gonna do a small run. So I'm working on a new logo, kind of been using the same RG down there in the corner since 18, even before then.
It'd be cool, just like a box you could put stuff on with different pieces of your art on each side. I don't think anybody's ever done that, or I'm sure some thousands of people have done that, but I've never seen it.
Like a key box to put your keys in, or
just like
your weed in.
Yeah, like a weed box, or like a gift box.
Wasn't that Saturday Night Live?
Put your weed in it. What do you do with that? You put your weed in it.
It wasn't Jim Brewer, was it? Who was it?
I thought it was on whatever Half Baked. You put your weed in
it. I think it was Saturday Night Live, though. I don't know, but. Next week, I think we're going to do Kansas, right? We're going to do bands from Kansas. We're going to start our geographical portion of the shows. And then, so that'll be 95 and episode 95. Then after that, we're going to do Lenny Kravitz, because I really wanted Lenny Kravitz to win, because I only know 2 songs.
I love him so much.
And we've talked about him, and we've talked about doing the dive, and then we'll do another, I don't know, something, maybe another year, and then we'll do Ice Cube. And so I think that puts us pretty close to 100. So like I said, we're gonna we got to come up with something cool to do for 100. And so
we could reenact the skit from Saturday Night Live. You put your weed in it. I just found it. We'd need a couple other characters, because
Who was it?
Rob Schneider, David Spade, Chris Farley, and the cop on there was Charles Barkley. And now it's all coming back to me, because he walks up to him. No, you don't put your weed in it.
Yeah, that would be a good one to do. We'll just do that. We'll do that, and we'll learn it in like 4 or 5 different languages, and we'll just all in a couple of weeks. We got to learn Russian, Mandarin, Spanish, and French. There we go. Oui.
I just named every language minus French. Actually, I did take it for some reason weird in 5th grade because in Rose Hill they were weird. And I don't remember comment allez-vous, and I mean a couple things, but yeah.
I know baguette.
Va-tu faire foutre. Just told somebody in France to fuck off. That's all I remember. All right, with that, we're gonna fuck off and get off of here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will be back next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.